called Light in the Shadows. It's going to question, why does darkness exist? And the answer could be what looks like absence may actually be a form of presence that invites discovery. After all, why would a God of infinite light create a world full of darkness? Well, the Jewish mystics flip this question and they put a little bit in a different slant. They say, maybe because the light of God is too bright to see. And the only thing that makes it visible is actually when it's hidden. Meaning that the first light of creation was actually not God's light, but the light of creation was an event that God showed Moshe. God takes out, metaphorically speaking, a talit, a prayer shawl, but this prayer shawl is made of light. And God, like the same way when we pray, we wrap ourselves inside of the talit, God wraps himself inside of a talit made of light. But this light was designed to hide. In other words, just like you have the sun in the sky, which is a tremendous light, but really the light of the sun hides the vast universe. It hides the heavens. This hiding, this concealment of God's light is called in Kabbalah or Hiddenness, which means that is light which has been tucked away. It makes darkness into a vault or a genizah for treasure, meaning darkness is not absence, but rather potential. This is called tzimtzum. Tzimtzum is about making space. The Ari's image of it is infinite light pulls back so a world can exist. But is it really the ultimate light of God that is being hidden? This requires a really interesting concept. Let's think about this for a minute. God is omni, etc., the everything of everythings. Therefore, question one, what could the everything of everythings be lacking? If God is everything, then there's nothing lacking. Question number two, even if we can find X, which we're going to call the lack, which didn't exist before creation, where would God put this X? Puts it over here? No, God's over here. Puts it over there? God's over there, right? Where could God put the one thing that God doesn't have? The answer is, on first level, God contracts. This is the tzimtzum. God, so to speak, removes God's self from an area within the universe, and that void now can be the home to this lack that, so to speak, God lacked. But what is the lack? The answer is, because it's God, and everything that God does is absolutely perfect, so the lack that God lacks is lack, because God lacks nothing. So therefore, when God creates lack, even the lack lacks, because it's only an illusion of lack. It's like going back to the first session. The revelation is the black fire, but the hidden is the white fire. That white is there, even though all we can see is the black. So God, wrapping himself in a talit made out of light, was really using light to hide the original light. We have to reframe our thinking. Concealment is creative, not absence. Concealed, but not removed. It is there, but how do we find it? It doesn't say that God removed or got rid of the original light. It simply said that the original light was hidden. If something is hidden, then actually is calling out to be found. It wants to be found. But that's our challenge in our life, is to be able to see through the superficial and discover that hidden light to be able to reveal that light. It's called descent for the sake of ascent. It's like when Joseph, he was thrown into the pit by his brothers. It seemed to be a very downward spiral. It only got worse. He comes to Egypt, he's a slave, and the next thing you know, He's in prison, and it seems as if the key has been thrown away until all of a sudden, one day, he's now in the palace. What looks like loss is a scaffolding for rise. This is taught to us in the broken tablets. We know that Moshe Rabbeinu came down from Har Sinai actually 3 times. The first time he came down was with the original 2 tablets. Or if you go with Mel Brooks, of course, there were 3, but you dropped 1. Okay, fine, whatever. But originally there were 2. Those 2 tablets, Moshe broke. He shattered the tablets across the ground. What happened to those shattered pieces? Torah teaches us that when he then came the 3rd time down and gave us the tablets, which we kept forever, which happened to be on the day of Yom Kippur, because if you find yourself, you find the infinite, Moshe gathered all the shattered tablets and he rested them together. You had the whole tablets and the broken tablets together. Why? Because brokenness can carry holiness. The Kotzker Rebbe said, there is nothing more whole than a broken heart. The Baal Shem Tov said, where you fall is where you rise. Descent is part of ascent. That's purposeful darkness. By contrast, when AI hides its reasoning, the darkness doesn't elevate us. It endangers us. Mystical concealment, DI concealment, pushes us toward growth. Artificial concealment risks harm. This is divine hiddenness versus the black box of AI. Mysticism teaches us that God's light is hidden so that we can discover meaning inside the darkness. In AI black boxes are algorithms that make decisions we can't see into. DI invites us into relationship, while AI black boxes often leave us powerless and confused. DI invites us in. AI shuts us out. So what's a practical takeaway? When you face darkness in your life, pause and ask, what spark is hidden here for me to uncover? Darkness is not just an obstacle, it's a disguise for light. As Rabbi Nachman said, the book that we read on Tisha B'Av, keynote, are the same letters that also spell the word tikkun, which means if you broke it, you can fix it.